one of the most beloved baseball managers ever, especially right here in Cincinnati, of course, Sparky Anderson. Dan Ewald must think so too, because he's written the book Sparky and Me, and we appreciate that you came in. It's actually called Sparky and Me, My Friendship with Sparky Anderson, and the lessons he shared about baseball and life. And you two were the closest of friends, became so when he went to Detroit from here, actually.
Correct, Tanya. And I was blessed. I have no other way of expressing it, because our friendship struck up really quickly. We knew each other on a professional basis because I covered baseball for the Detroit News for several years. So when we were in spring training, Tampa wasn't far from Lakeland, so we played a lot of games against each other. But when he came to Detroit, it just blossomed quickly, and I don't know how it happened.
Well, I think it's wonderful that it did. Wonderful for both of you and for us, because we get to learn some of the life lessons that he spoke to you about. Would you share at least one with us?
Well, when he was a youngster, growing up, he was born and raised in Bridgewater, South Dakota. His family moved to Southern California when he was 9 years old. His dad had a scrap for money. They had 5 kids, and he wasn't an educated man, but a good man. And he told Sparky, who was Georgie at the time, he said, "Georgie, I don't have a lot to leave you when I die." He said, "But I'm going to give you the best advice anybody could have. It doesn't cost you a dime to be nice to people. And if you can be nice to people, you're going to have a happy, good life."
Gosh, that's
and
great
Tanya,
advice.
you have a little bit of history with the Cincinnati Reds, so you know all about this. And Sparky was wonderful, kind to everybody, and he took the time to learn people's first names. He would address them by first names. He'd give them a smile, and that's the kind of person he was. This book, by the way, Tanya, just so you know when you read it, if you do, and for your viewers, it's not a baseball book.
No.
It's a book about life. It's a book about friendship. And there isn't a better teacher. There wasn't one than Sparky.
I don't have that much time left, so I want to ask you quickly. You were there right before he died.
Right.
It was requested that you come.
Right.
Was there one last moment with him you'd like to share with us, a quick one?
Yeah, and it was painful, but it was beautiful also. He was lying in bed, in a hospital bed in his family room. At the end, that's where he was. And I was leaving early the next morning to go back to Detroit from LA. And I walked over to him and I said, "George, I'm leaving now, but I'll be back here in another week," which I had planned to. And he cried and I cried, I'll be honest with you. But I think he knew we were at the end, and at least we were together there.
I think it's a wonderful story of friendship. If anything else, we can learn great lessons from Sparky Anderson and a great story of friendship from this. The good news is you could get to meet Dan himself, and you can read this book, and because there's going to be a book signing tomorrow at the Barnes & Noble in Westchester. Will you give a talk as well during that time?
If they want me to, I will.
It's at noon. It is tomorrow. It's called Sparky and Me. Dan Ewald is, of course, the wonderful author of it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Tanya.
Today.
I love Cincinnati.
Good. We love Cincinnati, too.